If you've been waiting for your manifestation, just stop and know that it's already yours. Our desires cannot be separate from us. If they were, we wouldn't even think of them. That's why they're in our hearts, because they were made for us. Live each day as if it's yours already. Wake up and be excited and know. I know sometimes it's hard to do that when it's not sitting right in front of you, but that's the part that makes it happen, is believing and walking in the faith and the knowing, if you will, that it already belongs to you. Life is just a mirror showing us the state of our being. So what is your dominant state? What is your dominant vibe underneath it all? What frequency are you? That is what creation picks up on. That is what Christ consciousness knows. Our imaginations create and unveil our desires as we walk each day as if they're already done, as if they're already ours. Our manifest desires are just waiting for us to catch up to them. I know time is an illusion, but nevertheless, there is delay because of the vibrations we've put out there before. And just because it's half the fun is waiting to see how we're going to be surprised, because when we do get our desires, when we do get our wishes and dreams to come true, it's usually in a way that we least expect it, and at a time when we least expect it, and maybe from a person who we least expect it from. You might get a phone call. You might get, just money in the bank out of nowhere. You never know how it's going to happen. Another thing is too, a lot of people think once they get money, all their problems are going to go away. And I think there's a lot of famous people who prove that that's just not true. Money will distract you for a while, and it'll make you happy for a while because you'll be distracted. But if you're not really at peace inside, if you don't truly have your own peace, it will end up making you more miserable, because all it will do is extenuate your circumstances, whatever they are. There's been a time in my life when I had money and I was on pain pills so bad for many years when I had the most amount of money in my life. Look at all these musicians and actors who end up killing themselves or ODing or whatever, and it looks like they have the world on a string, as Frank Sinatra once said, and they're miserable. Look, I don't have anything against money. I'm just saying it will not fix everything. If we don't learn to master our emotions and find joy within ourselves, no matter what, then nothing will make us happy. No relationship, no job, no degree, nothing. The kingdom of heaven is within, and until we actually tap into that within us and find that peace and joy within ourselves, all the money, the most wonderful relationship, the best job, the best vacations, whatever, won't make you happy. Every day is a blank canvas for us to splash whatever we want onto it. So splash on some joy and peace, happiness. Do what makes you excited. Have fun. As much as you can. I know we have to do things that we don't want to do, like go to the motor vehicle department and pay bills and stuff like that. But whenever we can, go out to a nice dinner. Find the things that make your life worth living, because that's really when we align ourselves and realize how abundant we are. In the Bible, Hebrews 11:3 says, "What is seen is not made of things that are visible." We've known this for so long. Einstein said E equals mc squared, which means energy creates matter. So energy creates matter. It's not the other way around. We've been trying to do matter to matter, like working hard, doing a side hustle, just busting our butts, doing whatever it takes just to get by. And that is not the answer. Things are much easier than that. We don't have to make it as difficult as it is, because we've been taught that you got to get out there and you got to sweat and it's got to be hard. It's got to be difficult. It's just not true. I mean, you got to do something. Taking aligned, inspired action is necessary, but we don't have to, you know, kill ourselves and have heart attacks at 45. As we align our mental and emotional environment to our visions and desires, they are revealed to us. And that's the thing too. It's a revelation. It's not so much a creation. And I think that's important to remember. And once again, that's half the excitement of it. Is just waiting to see how it's going to be revealed. Our internal world is important. And when it's aligned correctly with the external world that we want in the right frequency, then that is when the curtain is pulled back, things are shown to us, the right people show up in our lives, finances show up. Life is much more magical than we've been led to believe. We were told we were just these beings in these bodies, and that's all we are in these minds, and that's it. Our minds are just computers, which are wonderful. And we have subconscious minds that we're ran by, that were mostly programmed by our parents and teachers who had no knowledge. They didn't even know that it existed, that our thoughts and our emotions were so important. As a matter of fact, they thought that meant nothing. They just thought going out there and working, sweating meant everything. And that's how you got successful. I know I wanted to go to school to be a musician and an actor, and my parents were like, well, there's no money in that. So I became an x-ray tech because they believed, that was a lucrative job, which it's not a bad paying job, but hey, actors and uh, musicians make a lot more money than most x-ray techs. I can tell you that. Not all of them, but if you get successful, that's another thing too. If you do what you love, you normally get successful. So find what you love and go after it with all your heart and never give up and walk in it and walk in that faith that it's yours already, because it is, or else you wouldn't even have that desire in your heart. If you enjoy our content, you might want to dive deeper and check out the two books that I've written. One is called Unleashing Destiny, which is a deep dive into manifestation and how our brain works to help us manifest. And there's also Believe the Best About Yourself and Your Life, a guide to living beyond childhood trauma. It's good to know that you're already loved, that you're already abundant, that your life is full of purpose. And if it's not, then make it full of purpose. Go after the things you love. Then you will have joy, and you will have peace, and you will find success in things that you love, because that's the way you align with who you were meant to be in the first place. Our egos want us to be worried, rushed, and fearful. But the truth is that we are the abundance that we seek. We are the peace that we seek. It's within us. When we quiet our minds and tap into that, find joy, just peaceful joy. And that's what matters most. And once you have that, things tend to come into your life. And when you get those things, that relationship and that money, you'll actually enjoy it. It won't just be something you're working so hard for that when you come home, you want to drink and take drugs because you're miserable from the job that you had to the job that you have to make that money. We are one with Source. When we walk with Source and believe that we have Christ consciousness within us. Live every day that way. It'll change our lives. It's changed mine. It'll change yours too. All right. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it.